Hello and welcome to all you January people for another colour reading from Karen's Colours. This time it's looking at July 2026. Now, if you've been here before, then you know what to expect. I'm Dr. Karen and I give general colour readings for each of you to see how your next month will develop. If you haven't been here before, well, then you probably find this a little unusual, but find yourself extremely welcome for the same. June was a bit of a mixed bag for most of us, and if you had a little bit of a problem, then I hope that by the end of the month it has sorted itself out. Certainly, July offers us another start to a different month, and as a general reading, take what resonates and please leave aside what doesn't. You might even like to come back towards the end of the month to see just how it fared for you. So let's begin then, shall we? Now, before I begin, this month we're going to be taking one of the oracles from the Treasures of Takashi. So, for January, let's choose one, shall we? That one wanted to come out. And what does it say? Enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic about life. Being positive and creative will allow plenty of energy and eagerness for new projects. Look on the bright side. Smile a lot and allow your bright, bubbly enthusiasm to delight, excite, and encourage others. Take care. You might not assess the situation clearly. If you are over-enthusiastic, be balanced. And now I need some colours for people born in January to see how their July 2026 will work out. We have firstly a strength, which is purple on yellow, followed by the obstacle, which is yellow on cyan, and the underlying energy, which is grey on purple. Purple on yellow. This combination shows a skill and activity that you are engaged in as a result of the driver that comes from the colour underneath. And in this instance, the colour underneath is yellow, which indicates that there is here a potential for a great deal of happiness. Yellow as a strength, as a driver, is always about curiosity. You want to know things. You want to find out information. And the way in which you find out that information is that you explore the world. Purple is child energy. And children, as you know, will experiment with things, will play with things, will destroy them, will recreate them into something new. They are extremely inventive. But this purple energy also obscures some of the learning that is potential from inside. And so this combination is often associated with uncertainty, with a little bit of not being able to see things clearly. There's an obscurity that takes place. But because this happens to be your strength, it means that you are able to thrive in situations where things are not clear, where you have to invent activities, invent reasons, invent any sort of thing in the real world that enables you to feel as though you have accomplished something in the internal world, which is all about your memory, your learning, your ability to engage intellectually with the world at large. Now, when we look at what the obstacle is, we see here an inversion of the yellow. Before, it was as the driver, and that was the seeking after happiness and success as a result of your ability to engage with and explore the unknown. But here, as the obstacle, it becomes an overload of information. It's as though your activities here, your ability to deal with the unknown and to deal with the obscured by finding new ways, new inventions, new methods of getting through the darkness of what is around you, here it becomes too much. You're driven by a desire for peace and harmony and just basic settling down. You want some stagnant time where things just don't change. You want some sort of total, absolute stability. But in the real world, what you're getting is one almost shock after another. The more you learn, the more you desire to learn, the more you are actually learning, the less inclined you are to feel as though things are going your way. And the interesting thing here is that when we take yellow and cyan together, we get a type of green, which is that a need for letting go of the past and moving on towards a new future. That is an obstacle. Back here, the combination of purple and yellow, because they are also opposites on the color wheel, is in fact a creation of the color brown. And brown is all about being able to create goals and develop the practical skills that are necessary in order to achieve those goals. But these are all intellectual goals that you're going for here. That is your strength. Your obstacle is that the opportunities for doing whatever it is, whatever intellectual work is happening here, those opportunities are limited or restricted by the fact that inside you feel as though nothing is changing, nothing is getting any better for you. And in the real world, there is a great deal of anxiety that takes place. Now, the underlying energy here is interesting because it takes on gray on purple. When purple's in the real world, there's a lot of experimentation taking place. When it's in the internal world, it's all about the development of nightmares. It's as though you worry too much about things that haven't happened yet. And this is the underlying energy that permeates both the strength and the obstacle within your life. In the real world, that worrying about things that haven't happened yet puts you in a bit of a quandary. How do you overcome those issues? Because there is no clear definition here of which direction to take. You can't retreat and you can't attack. Gray is all of those areas that are unknown, unknowable, and you find yourself in a situation where there is no clear way of figuring out just what you need to do in order to overcome this feeling of almost dread that occurs as a result of this purple internally. But as an underlying energy, it also works positively with your strength, as well as working more negatively with your obstacle. So let's look at how those interactions proceed. Well, we have yellow and we have purple. We have purple and gray. And then we have yellow and cyan. Now, looking at those colors, we can see that there is a crossing over from underlying energy and also from the strength and weakness, or strength and obstacle, which can create a great deal more confusion for you in July than you would otherwise expect. So let's have a look at the interaction, firstly, between the strength and the underlying energy. Here we have the purple on yellow, which we know is all about intellectual curiosity and its satisfaction. And here we have gray and purple, which we know is about this tendency towards doom and gloom and not being able to do anything much about it. But when it's a strength, it means that there is an urge to heal things. And in the real world, you're prepared to try pretty much anything that comes your way. But how do we function when we cross these over? What we have here now is destruction and creation altogether. You are able to very easily pull down anything that doesn't suit you anymore. In July, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you have everything that was built up before, everything that you thought you knew, everything that you were heading towards in terms of intellectual prowess suddenly come crashing down. The destructive element is what occurs in the real world as a result of the creative element that comes from the internal world. You want to make changes that make things get better, but in the real world, all you seem to be doing is pulling apart everything that you had before. And that can be a very disconcerting and very upsetting energy to be dealing with. Nevertheless, it is part of your skill set. It is part of your strength. So it requires you to be able to survive this destruction. So whether or not you engage in it actively, whether you initiate it, or whether it just simply happens around you, you are able to deal with it because you have the imagination that enables you to find alternatives to whatever it is that has created this destructive element, and that allows you to create some sort of better outcome. On the other hand, we have grey on yellow. Now, the yellow internally is often associated with a lack of knowledge. And so it's associated with fear, particularly if it's an obstacle. But here, it is part of your strength. So it's a drive towards finding the information you need to do what? Well, in the real world, to be able to balance out all of the conflicting information that's coming your way. What is reality? What is just imagination? Being able to differentiate between those and to work through the compromises that are necessary when you find yourself stuck in between two perhaps not so appealing choices, probably as a result of what has happened back here. And as a result of that, you find yourself being able to tread the middle path because you have the curiosity and the information that you're looking for. Now, what happens when we take that underlying energy and we cross it with the obstacle? Looking back at these again, now the purple, instead of being the urge towards healing, is the urge towards destroying things. And what does it want to destroy? Anything it doesn't understand. Here, the need for peace and quiet and harmony comes through as a great deal of anxiety because you're not finding yourself feeling comfortable regardless of whatever alternatives you choose. So let's cross over the underlying drivers and see what happens. Now we have a situation in which that quest for peace and harmony and contentment comes through as being entirely dissatisfied. You're not finding total contentment, but you're not finding total discontentment. Instead, you're sort of sitting in the middle there where you're not able to really feel as though things are going your way. Things have not settled. Things are not, on the other hand, overly arduous for you to deal with either. So here we have a discontentedness that comes through because you aren't able to get away from having to take that middle road, those standing between two difficult choices. On the other hand, here we have the purple as the internal driver, that is the need to fix something. And in the real world, there is illumination. But because this is an obstacle, it means that things are even more obscured than they were back here. In fact, what you have here is an inversion as part of this combination of underlying energy and the obstacle, an inversion of what is your strength. Here, you're able to find your illumination through your imagination. Here, the lacking of imagination is creating for you a great deal of anxiety and stress in the real world. And together, this combination here, and particularly this yellow-purple nexus that we have here, once again, causes you to fail at being able to obtain what you are looking for, because we've still got yellow and purple as opposites on the color wheel, which, when they are combined, create brown. Brown is goals and the ability to create the sort of practical application, the practical skills that are necessary to achieve them. Here, it's a strength. Here, it's definitely an obstacle. So what is it that you are choosing that is creating the problem? Well, it's likely to be in here somewhere. You want the ultimate in contentment, the ultimate in being settled, and instead you're finding yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place. And it's all because of what choices you are making here, what goals you are driving yourself towards, and whether or not they are achievable. In July, I dare say that you will probably have some difficulty achieving what you have set out to do, simply because you are unhappy with the options that are available to you. So let's look at the colours that are missing to see if we can find something that will relieve us of that energy. Well, there's no black or white or red or green or blue or brown or orange or pink. So here we have 8 colours, 8 sets of skills that you are currently not using. And even though some of these might be available to you as hidden colours within these combinations, nevertheless, they don't exist in their own right. Black, the ability to withdraw, to take time out, to simply allow yourself to recuperate. White, the ability to simply allow whatever is coming your way to come and be dealt with and to be faced and to be curious about how to overcome a similar situation should it occur again. Red, which is about energy. It's about the accumulation of all of the passion and the energy that causes you to make impulsive decisions based on whatever it is that you are confronted at the time. Green, the opportunities that are necessary in order for you to move in a different direction. It's hidden in here, but it doesn't exist in its own right. Blue, the ability to carry out whatever duties and responsibilities are allotted to you, either by others or things that you have taken on for yourself. You need to be able to create the sort of stability in your life that comes from knowing that everything that you are expected to do has been done. Brown, the color that's hidden here, but also in this combination. Goals, practical skills, ambitions, just getting down and dirty and doing what needs to be done in order to make you feel as though you have accomplished something. Orange, confidence, the ability to stand up and survive whatever calamity comes towards you. Crisis is definitely likely to occur here, but that calamity can only be overcome if you are prepared to face it head on and to survive. And finally, pink, the color of love and also of compassion, but it's also a color of vulnerability. You might find yourself needing somebody to help you along. And that's where the pink energy allows you to do so. So out of those 8 colors, which is the most appealing and then which is the least appealing color? Choose those 2 and incorporate them in here, because you have an extremely limited repertoire of skills available to you in July. if you expand them even just a little bit, you'll find the relief that comes from this inability to choose what you want, the inability to get what you want. Well, if nothing else, July certainly seems to be becoming a very interesting month indeed. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this reading and that you take away from it or from the Treasure of Takashi something that will benefit you throughout the month of July. Until we meet again, may the colours of your life bring you all of the joy and happiness that you require for your own higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.